is about consumer behavior. What does it actually mean?
Basically, it's about what people decide to buy based on their income, the price of goods, even trends, and even trends. It's like when you choose between kopi kampung and also this coffee. So that is what I think about consumer behavior.
Like me, if bubble tea go up to 50 ringgit, I probably will be drinking syrup at home. That pricey, right?
Yeah, and don't forget the law of diminishing marginal utility. The first cup of bubble tea might be amazing, but if you drink every day, it gets boring. The satisfaction goes down.
So that's why the economists say when demand falls, the price goes up.
Exactly. It's not just about price. Income is also matters. So to conclude with, if you have higher income, so you can buy a lot of name brand stuff.
Unless you're me, I still look for discount. Loyal to budget shopping.
Now, when it's come to economic distribution, it's all about money and resources are shared in society. Some people earn a lot of money and some people not enough, and that affects how they behave as consumers.
So the richer you are, the more options we have, right?
Yes. You know, the high income people, they get to buy the luxury goods. But sadly, the lowest one, they only can focus on basic needs such as transport, food, rent, and so on.
And yeah, rich people don't wait for salary to do. And that's a big difference in behavior.
True, and the government step in with policy like minimum wage or subsidy to balance things. This is the way to improving both consumer welfare and distribution.
Malaysia is that, right? Like Sarah's, Mona's Rama, those who help lower income groups to spend more.
Yes, and that spending can boost the economy. You know, more economy, more business activity.
So basically, our shopping not just a random one. It's influenced by price, income, and even policy.
Exactly. Consumer behavior and economic distribution are two sides of the same coin, and one affect the other.
Wow, I never thought my snack choices was part of the economy, but I guess they are. So, welcome to microeconomy.
Hello guys, so today me and my other team members are going to talk about this consumer behavior and economic distribution. But first of all, what is macroeconomic? So basically, macroeconomics is a study that focuses on action of individual consumers, firms, which is how they interact in markets. There are two crucial areas within the field of consumer behavior, which is how they make a consumption decision, and the second, the economic distribution, how they divide their income across the societies. So in conclusion, we need to understand what is consumer behavior and economic distribution. So now we will proceed with the consumer behavior. So what is consumer behavior? Consumer behavior is a study of how individuals allocated their limited income to purchase various goods and services. It takes into account decision making, psychological factors, cultural influences, and market conditions. This explains that it's not only helps what people to buy, but how and why don't they make those choices. Okay, now let's dig into the theory of the consumer behavior, which is total utility. Total utility means the total of satisfaction of customers after they receive the product that they have consumed. So the formula is TU equals to UX plus UY plus UZ. That's right. Okay, now marginal utility. It refers to the change of the total satisfaction of an individual when after they receive the product that they have consumed. And the formula is NVN equals to TUN minus 1.
So let's move on to the between total utility and marginal utility. So the first one, when the marginal utility is decreased, the total utility is increased, but at a diminishing rate. And the second one, when the marginal utility is zero, the total utility is at maximum. And the last one, when the marginal utility is negative, the total utility start to decrease. The law of diminishing marginal utility defines that more product is consumed. This less extra satisfaction utility is gained from each new unit. For the example, when someone is starving, his first bite of food gives high satisfaction. But when he continues to eating, his appetite and satisfaction will decrease. And eventually, he don't want to eat anymore. Let's move on to assumption of law of diminishing marginal utility. So the first one, the consumer is rational and consume a standard amount of product. The second one is utility can be measured, consumer preference stay the same and product quality is uniform. The utility of one product does not affect the utility of another. They are independent. The price, income, marginal utility of money is all the same. Consumer equilibrium happens when customers choose the best combination of the goods to get satisfaction utility based on their income. Even though point K is the give the highest satisfaction, but it's not affordable. Point C, it is affordable because point C touch the customer budget lines. So, consumer equilibrium is at the point C.
What is economic distribution? Economic distribution is how a country's wealth, income, and resources is divided among its people. Some people may earn a lot, while others may earn very little that they barely eat every day. This gap is called as income inequality. When this gap is too big, it may cause bigger problems in the future, such as poverty, lack of healthcare, and also limited access to the education in the country. Government can help to support this by making policies such as minimum wage, taxes, and financial aid that help people from the lower income groups to make their daily life easier. A fairer and balanced society can be created from this equal distribution. Labor supply. Labor supply is how much effort the worker willing to put. Depends on the different level of wages. So for the equilibrium, it's set where the labor demanded met with the supply of labor. What are the factors that influence the wage equilibrium? The market demands and market supply of labor (MS) determine the equilibrium. If the market demand and the market supply are equal, the equilibrium are attained. While if the market demand slope downward while the market supply slope upward, the wage rate will increase while the quantity demanded will decrease, while the quantity supplied will be increased. And this goes both ways. Labor supply. Labor supply is how much effort the worker willing to put. Depends on the different level of wages. So for the equilibrium, it's set where the labor demanded met with the supply of labor. What are the factors that influence the wage equilibrium? The market demands and market supply of labor (MS) determine the equilibrium. If the market demand and the market supply are equal, the equilibrium are attained. While if the market demand slope downward while the market supply slope upward, the wage rate will increase while the quantity demanded will decrease, while the quantity supplied will be increased. And this goes both ways. Interest is the return paid for the use of capital. Why is that interest matter? Is it because for consumer, interest affect their decision to borrow and save money. If it high interest rate, they will borrow less and saving more. But if it low interest rate, people will borrow more. For free, the business often use money for investment. For example, a company decide to buy a new equipment. They will borrow if it 3% of interest rate. But if it's 10%, they will wait until they have enough money to go. So for profit is the return reward for entrepreneurship after taking the risk. The formula for profit is total revenue minus total cost. There are two types of profit. The first one is normal profit. Normal profit is a minimum profit to get the business running. For the second one is supernormal profit, is extra profit above the normal profit. So to conclude, if the profit is high, then it means the business is doing well. But if there is no profit, then the business is going to close down. Okay, link between consumer behavior and economic distribution. Okay, the first one is consumer behavior effect economic distribution. This is because consumer choice determine what good and service are in demand. For example, if the test gadget, if the consumer prefer test gadget, then the test gadget company will need more workers to meet the demands. So the high skill worker can get more income. So for the second one is economic distribution shape consumer behavior. So the reason is because low income consumer focus more on their basic needs such as education, healthcare, food, rent, and so on, while high income consumer can buy luxury and invest more on goods. In conclusion, consumer behavior and economic distribution is closely linked to shape the economy. The people spending choice is effect which business grow, which is turn influence on how income are shared across the society. At the same time, how income are distributed affect what people can afford to buy. This how shape overall the demands. Lastly, understanding this help us see why fair distribution and smart consumer choice are important to create the balanced and exclusive economy.